this particular session, we are not dwelling deep into each and every topic. We have already finished our syllabus. So we have covered all the topics. So we are not going deep into each and every topic. Okay. So in each slide, you will see that 7 modules that we had the test for today. Like we have ecosystem basic concepts, then biogeochemical cycles, biodiversity and conservation, then biomes, both terrestrial and aquatic, then environmental laws, as well as Indian Environmental Organization. So from that, just an overview of what all things you need to keep in mind with regard to each and every these modules. Okay, these 7 modules we will see first, then we will discuss the questions. So in the first module, which is ecosystem, okay, so we started off with our syllabus with ecosystem. So that was our first module. In ecosystem, what all things you need to focus upon basically is, the first thing is the basics of ecosystem. Okay, basics of ecosystem in the sense you need to know what all are the basic differences between the concepts environment, environmental science, ecology, ecosystem. Okay, though all these terms sound similar, there are basic differences between all these terms, right? So you should know what all are the basic differences between these. Then you should know about the types of ecosystem. Okay, when we study about ecosystem, we have got generally 2 types of ecosystem, that is natural as well as man-made ecosystem. And coming to structure, the very important part of structure of ecosystem, which is the biotic components as well as the abiotic components. Biotic in the sense the living things, and the abiotic components the non-living things. Okay, so these 2 forms the structure of ecosystem. And in biotic we are having the other subdivisions like producers, consumers, decomposers. That subdivision is also there, keep that in mind. Coming to productivity, very important, ecosystem productivity, we are having different types of ecosystem productivity, like primary productivity is there, then secondary productivity is there. So what is the basic difference between both of these, that you should know. Functions of ecosystem. Functions of ecosystem, what all are the functions of ecosystem? What all are the functions? Yeah, that is the use, that is the value of ecosystem we are having, right? So when we talk about functions of ecosystem, we are having that energy flow that takes place in ecosystem. Ecosystem is a function, a predominant function of ecosystem, right? Energy flow is happening in a unidirectional manner. That is a function of ecosystem. So energy flow, in energy flow you will see about food chains, food web, ecological pyramids. Okay, then biogeochemical cycles, which we have dwelt as a separate module. Our module 2 was biogeochemical cycles. So biogeochemical cycle or nutrient cycling that happens in ecosystem is another function of ecosystem. Okay, then comes ecological succession. Okay, ecological succession, which means ecological succession we are having primary succession, we are having secondary succession. Then the basic difference between the 2. Okay, primary succession starts off in a bare surface where nothing was there before. Secondary succession is not like that. So all those basic difference you should keep in mind. Then autogenic, allogenic succession is there. Autotrophic, heterotrophic succession is there. These all are different types of succession. Okay. Now coming to, yes, food chain, which you see in energy flow. Coming to food chain, there are types of food chain, like grazing food chain is there, detritus food chain is there. Okay. Ecological pyramids, another important section, ecological pyramids, where you will see types of ecological pyramids based on number, biomass, energy. Okay, and their characteristics. Characteristics in the sense whether they are upright or whether they are inverted or whether they are ecological pyramids which are always upright. All these things you have to keep in mind. If they are inverted, in which all section, or which is the examples for inverted types of pyramids, all these things you have to keep in mind. Coming to, yes, some of the important terms and concepts that you should know. That is ecological niche, ecological footprint, ecotone, edge effect, edge species, home range, carrying capacity. All these things we have actually dealt in detail in our classes. Okay, any doubts with regard to these concepts? Ecological niche, that is the functional role a species have in an ecosystem, that is ecological niche. Then ecological footprint, in terms of environment, how much we are using the sources of environment, that is denoted by ecological footprint. Ecotone, the transitional area between two ecosystems is termed as ecotone. Edge effect, the increased, yes, exactly, increased biodiversity that you can see within an ecotone, that is edge effect. And the predominant species present is called edge species. Yes. Then home range. What is home range? Area where a particular species can thrive and survive well. That particular area is denoted by its home range. Carrying capacity. Yes, exactly. That is how we can use resources without depleting it or without exploiting it in a sustainable manner. Okay, that capacity of the environment is known as carrying capacity. So these are some of the basic terms that you should keep in mind with regard to ecosystem. Right. Coming to biotic interaction. Another very important part, biotic interaction. We know the biotic components, that is the living creatures in our ecosystem, they depend each other for their survival, for their food or for their habitat. All these things, they are dependent on each other. That dependence, that interdependence is denoted by biotic interaction. And we have got different types of biotic interaction like mutualism, where both benefits, commensalism, where one benefits, other remains, neither harm nor benefited. Competition, both gets, yes, both, they are both competing for the same resource. Predation, one is benefiting, the other is harmed. Parasitism, same concept. Predation and parasitism is denoting the same concept. Coming to amensalism, other remains unaffected. Amensalism and commensalism, like it is the opposites. Neutralism, both of them remains neither harmed nor benefited. So these are the biotic interactions. So this is ecosystem in a nutshell. Okay. So briefly, while we say symbiosis is just, it is showing the relationship between two organisms. When we say like lichens is a symbiotic relationship between algae and fungi, we say like it is representing mutualism. So ecosystem, when we say it in a nutshell, it is coming under all these heads. Okay. So when we say about prelims examination, there were chances that at least one or two questions you can expect from this environmental ecology part, that is ecosystem part. So, but nowadays, like current affairs is also being asked. Anyway, this is the basics of environment. Okay, the ecosystem is the basics of environment. So, you should have thorough knowledge about all these concepts and areas with regard to ecosystem. Okay. Yes. Coming to the next very small module, it is nutrient cycling or biogeochemical cycle.